Hello, we are here for one more lesson of this T-Flex CAD training course, and the topic for today will be the customization of the system. We will see a set of commands and options which allow us to make a customization of your system, and because there are a lot of functionalities and options, we will not see each one of them, and for any of the things that we will not have time to see, you can consult our theoretical course or simply contact us and ask us for more explanations if needed. So the first command where you should go to see how to do these settings is under this symbol here, this icon, and then you should choose the options. And this big dialog box that we get in our screen allow us to define the several parameters we have in our system, in our drawing. Okay. One very nice feature that the system has is every time I click in one of these tabs here, I get my options in this right side, and when I click in one of these items of the list, I get an explanation down here. So it will help you a lot to see what it does. Starting now, so regarding the user, we get a set of options here which configure regarding our license, the name of the company and the user and the license. Then regarding startup, we get some functionalities regarding to load or not documents from the previous session, disable or not macros, and the number of recent files in menu, which is something that you can see in here. If you go to the start page, you can see this number of things here. Show also a welcome page in startup. Then under the 2D, so you can click in 2D, and you have, because of this arrow pointing to the right side, you can open and you have more things. Regarding the 2D, we have the possibility to make node construction or define it as a transparent command. So transparent means that it can be called inside any command without aborting the command. The same for the dimension edition and the element edition. Here also regarding the left mouse action, so we can choose to edit parameters or these other options, activate current page or a new window, so I will leave as it is. The size in pixels regarding the node detection and the node size, and also regarding grid point size, which also it is important. Then we have a couple of options for the paper size, so we can choose which paper size will be my default and the dimensions, units. 3D, we get a couple of things also, and we have more sub-options. So the method for defining the projections, okay, we have this ISO possibility or ANSI, so in Europe will be ISO. The font by default, number of grid lines, select by all grid lines or not, I have it off. And the brightness of these 3D elements as a factor 0 to 100. Then we have regarding the draggers and the scene size. We can define angles to rotate by the arrows or by this combination of keys. Okay. Another important thing in 3D when an object is created, to continue on the command or to leave it or to select an object. Color for clip plane, so sections or other. And do not show warning messages when creating projections, which is a dialog box that appears in our screen, giving always the same message. So graphic settings also to define, we can say less powerful or more powerful. By hardware or compatible, the anti-aliasing, the factor that we have, for sure that if we choose higher performance, it will probably take a little longer. So it must be a compromise about what you have and about the machine you have also. Then we can choose also the display or not of hidden objects, the cosmetic threads, small objects. If they are too small, we may choose to have them off, and size to define these small objects. This is an area for simplification, so it will turn your system a little down so that it's not set for maximum performance, and on that way it will take longer to work. This is for stereoscopic views also, where you can see directly in 3D in the screen. Windows, so regarding this position of the windows that we have, the auto menu buttons, the menu that appears in this side. So with this on, if the auto menu is bigger than the space we have, so it will appear in columns, and I have this option activated. The position for the auto menu, the view toolbar, this one here, the selector toolbar, which is this one here. A couple of options for the scale percentage and the shift percentage also. And every time new windows are created, I want to create rulers and add scroll bars, as I have in this one. Folders for several things, so basically pointing to places where we have folders, so we can define all these places. Databases, documents, bills of materials, textures, fonts, all of these are pointing places. Regarding bills of materials, also the same situation, places where these things are saved. Files also, where are these templates for these things. Regarding fragments, we can have this management of where to keep library names, because when we work with fragments, we are saying, or the use we must give to these fragments. It's the insertion in other bigger files or assemblies. So, and there is a management connected to this insertion. The action of the double click, okay, in the fragments, and some behavior regarding the check of a fragment in these two situations. For the snaps, also very important. The snaps are those functions where we can find endpoint, a node, intersection, whatever. So the search radius in pixels, the selection, the possibility to have graphic lines when we are creating the edge contours, the tooltips shown, and the possibility to have the node snap in frozen layers which may be interesting or not. I personally don't use it. Priority to work with these snaps. So we have this list and we can change the order by these arrows. With the dynamic toolbars, at this point is not very important. Colors. So we can change colors for all of these things. So just click something and edit what you want. A couple of additional options, because we can have or we can define the actions for the right mouse button. Okay, we can invert the mouse wheel direction, or a dynamic delete that allow you to fly over an entity and just do the delete instead of doing the normal action in the command, the delete or whatever. A beep noise in diagnostics every time you get an error, and this regarding print, which at this moment is not very important also. This regenerate option automatically, it will work every time you get changes in 2Ds, for example, for the 3D or the opposite. The memory limit for projections, and you have an explanation around here for several versions of your operating system. So there are different settings for each one. The possibility to have the use of multi-threading in calculation, which is very important at this moment in more complex options or areas of activity. The buffers for undo redo. Okay. The volume of RAM defined for temporary uploading of parts in assemblies, and this option also serves for don't display these smaller 2D objects. The save, I think it's also important. You can activate the autosave and define a timing for that activity, and create backup copies if you want. So all in first save on every save, or new on every save. So this it will create a back extension file, or a B01, B02 if it is done in every save. Then you have options for this T-Flex dock. So this is a particular area and the module apart from the CAD, so I will not speak about this one. And finally, you can list all the commands in here, so it's a resume of what we've been seeing. This is one part of the definitions. Then we have the other part that we can assess through, now instead of options, and you can call, I did not mention, but you can see options, you can call it by the SO combination of keys. The second part, the customized system, you can call it by the SB or this icon here. So SB, and you get a new dialog box with a couple of tabs. This is more related with the shortcuts, with the commands, with the toolbars. It's a little different. The other one is the system. This is more the interface, the look of the program. So starting with the options tab, so we can personalize the menus and toolbars, so always full. Ribbon mode, we can change it or not. The size of the icons, screen tips on toolbars, and this standard behavior of the animation, so I keep it under default, so no need about it. The ribbon, it's a configuration of the ribbon, so you can define new commands and so on. So I will not do it, but it's very easy. So you have the commands under here. So the menus here, and then you can choose what is inside and pass it over and deal with the ribbon. So not very strange to work with. Toolbars, we can have the main menu here. Okay, or you can choose not to see it, because if you have it, then you can call it, you can call the commands from here. So this is also the configuration of this main toolbar. Or you can make a new one, give it a name, and now you can define whatever you want, okay, and put it here. I will delete it. About the commands, also the same. You can add a command to a toolbar, so just by dragging and so on, going on and dragging to the place you want. Keyboard, so this is very nice to add shortcut keys. So if you call something, okay, you have a key assignment or you don't have anything, and you can assign a new one, so it's very easy also, and you can add also a description if needed. The environment, you can have a definition, so you have this current environment, you can create a new one and configure all the environment. I will delete it also. And finally, regarding the main toolbar, so you can have all these modes also, and you can have new ones, so you can change all of this. This is very long, so it's very not as easy to explain and not as clear as explaining a particular command or a particular drawing action. It is important, and if you have any particular need or question, again, in our theoretical course we have the full explanation of all options, so it will be much easier. Anyway, if you need anything in particular, you can contact us, because we will give you all the needed explanations about these options.